Hello and welcome to San Diego. I'm Don Aiken with the Shelter Island office of Ensign International Yacht Brokers. I'd like to extend a personal invitation to you to join me as we tour this boat called Free Spirit. We're going to go through it and we're going to discover a number of really wonderful things about her that make her unique and very different. One of the beauties of this boat is that she has been meticulously maintained and routinely upgraded throughout her life. She's almost like a brand new boat. Well, what is she? How do we describe her? Well, she's a double-ended center cockpit, cutter-rigged blue water cruising boat that has a modified full keel along with a skeg-protected rudder. This boat, interestingly enough, will surprise you when you see the wonderful condition on the inside. This really is a great boat. One of the things I'd like to share with you just at this point at the beginning of our tour is that I'm reserving a secret that I'm going to share with you about this boat when we finish the tour. I look forward to doing that with you later. You know, when you descend the companionway stairs, you can't help but be immediately impressed with the interior quality of this yacht. The varnish work in here looks like it was just done yesterday. Take a look at this main salon table. Look how big it is. With these two leaves, basically you could seat 6 people for a full course dinner. As far as the upholstery is concerned on the settees, the upholstery is literally as good as new. Over here on the port side, you can see that these are some outdoor cushions for the cockpit, but underneath that we've got a sea berth, which makes a great place for someone to sleep when you're underway. But in addition, and I'm not going to try to demonstrate this here, but take my word for it, both of these settees spread out. You can pull this entire unit, there's a whole bunch more cushion inside, you can pull this out right to the table, and you can do the same thing over here on the starboard side, so that you would have a huge area for people to sleep while at sea. It's a remarkable boat. As we take a look at the galley, this is really something else. Interestingly enough, you know, on a lot of boats the galley is a terrible compromise, but not so on Free Spirit. And that, by the way, is the name of this boat, Free Spirit. If you look at this galley, you can see that it has a brand new 3-burner propane stove and oven. It has a brand new microwave over there. It has plenty of storage here for the sorts of things that you want to have available to you when you're preparing meals. It's got a double stainless steel sink. Here, and it's going to be tough to show this initially, but this goes all the way down to the core of the boat. And this is the refrigeration unit. It's got opening hatches on both sides, along with a beautiful finished countertop, which enables you to essentially prepare, it doesn't matter whether it's just fast food, a snack, or a full course meal. One of the things that often happens in a galley is that there's no place to put things. You end up with all sorts of cooking utensils, and glasses. Let's not forget about glasses. Let's see if I can remember how this opens. Take a look at this wonderful place to store special cocktail glasses. Right here, easily accessible. Oh, it has a remarkable set of drawers. Look at these. And there are 4 of these drawers going all the way from the top of this unit down to the sole of the boat. I'd really like to draw your attention to the ceiling on this boat. You know, so often you hear stories about how boats get to have soft decks. Well, let's take a look at these ribs. These ribs are actually part of the structure of the deck. This is why the deck remains as solid as it does. Once again, the designers of this boat were thinking about the total sailing experience that you would enjoy out at sea, or else just sitting at the dock, or maybe even going over to Catalina. Welcome to the guest quarters aboard Free Spirit. You're obviously going to have some guests aboard the boat, and you want to have some place where they can be comfortable because they need to sleep just like anybody else does. This is a great big day berth, big enough for 2 more than abundant sized adults to enjoy a comfortable sleep on a 4-inch foam mattress. You know, when you look at the detail work on this boat, you can see these beautiful doors. Again, the woodwork of fine furniture. Same thing applies for areas where you store, and I don't know whether you can see this or not, but that opens up. Those are actually real louvers, as opposed to something that fakes it and just looks like louver. So that things like, outdoor vests and the like that you store in here are going to be able to be ventilated. Okay? Now as you come on in further into the forward berth, what you'll begin to see is some of the detail work that again suggests the structural support of the boat itself. All the way to the forward. These are huge shelves up here. These are just a place where folks have stored a couple of things. But as you look at this whole internal V-berth, what you see is that it's generous, has abundant space for regular size or even bigger adults to actually be quite comfortable. Be a nice place to sleep. You know, an interesting thing about many of the center cockpit boats that you'll find on the market is that, well, the walkway between the main salon and the aft cabin, because it's a two-cabin boat, the walkway between the main salon and the aft cabin has so little headroom in it that most people have to duck all the way down and bend over in order to make the run. Well, I'm 6'2". Look at this. I can stand up in here, and I can stand up all the way back. But over here on the center line of the boat, you're going to find the engine compartment. And on a lot of sailboats, the engine compartment is the hardest place to get to. Well, not in the case of this boat. Take a look at this. My goodness. Two huge doors, all insulated for sound, and they open up to the engine room where you have access to all of the engine filters. You can see all of the hoses and the connections that have been replaced in the last 2 years. And you've got a sound dampening blanket on top of the engine itself. What a discovery. Take a look at this. Basically you have two single berths, but this boat has an inset in between the two of them that has been put in here to give you probably one of the largest berths you're ever going to find on a sailboat. Look at this. You could have a party back here. But once again, as is the case with the rest of the boat, the woodwork quality is consistent throughout this area. Here, for example, over on this starboard side, we have more of these wonderful drawers for the storage of clothes and jeans and sweaters and sweatsuits and all that kind of good stuff, along with a countertop. But in the back, we have a secondary VHF radio along with a RAM mic. That's designed to give you access to communication from the aft cabin in the middle of the night if that were to become necessary. Over here on the center line, what we have is another massive dresser, once again, great drawers, and you may be able to get a shot of this with the camera. See this? These are all dovetailed seams. The whole boat is built like that. There isn't a single drawer that doesn't have dovetail seams. See, this boat wasn't assembled with pre-cut pieces. This boat was built by hand by some of the finest craftsmen available. She was built up in Los Angeles by Robinson Yachts, designed by Robert Finch, and they produced a real work of art. And look at the finish here. And once again, all of these have a special latch on them so that none of these doors are going to come open while you're bouncing about a little bit at sea. Well, what do we do if we have to clean some clothes? Well, the best thing to do to clean clothes is to use a combined washer-dryer. Let's see if I can do that. Here you go. There's a Splendide 2000 automatic. And you can actually wash fairly large amounts of clothes in these. You look at them and think, well, that's not going to do very much, but most people who have them tell you they're amazed at how much they can actually put in them and how clean they get. Well, once again, it's nice to have a private head. And there is a private head aboard this boat back here for the owners, and it's down here on the port side. Take a look at that. One of the things that we didn't mention earlier is that with these tops to the freezer and to the pantry closed, this whole area here becomes a huge workbench. That's one of the things that's often missing in a modern yacht. Look at this. Lots of space for whatever project you happen to have decided that you wanted to undertake. Nice and convenient, isn't it? Notice as well that here's the ship's EPIRB. This is the 406 EPIRB that is required by anybody who wants to cruise in blue water. These actually connect with satellites and are a great communications device if you ever need help. You'll probably remember that at the beginning of this tour that I promised to share a secret with you when we got to the end of the tour. Well, here's the secret. in spite of the fact that when you were down below and you saw how beautiful this boat is inside, would you believe that this boat is 39 years old? It was built in 1976. It's a one-off boat that was designed by Robert Finch and built by Robinson Yachts up in Los Angeles. Robert Perry was asked if he would assess this boat by Sail Magazine when it first came out. He described it as the most remarkable vessel he had ever been asked to review. He said it was outstanding and that the work down below had been done by real professionals. Well, thanks again for spending some time with us. We're here in San Diego, easy enough to get to. Just call us on the phone. If you're going to fly into town to see this boat, we'll pick you up at the airport and bring you over. That'll be our pleasure. We look forward to talking to you more about this boat. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.